Isolation day 22. So Thursday the 9th of April. I hope you're all keeping well and looking after yourselves. I thought I would take a different approach today. I thought I'd leave the food out, but what we would look at as the CGM is in, and because the graphs are produced on the pump, I thought I would look at certain intervals of the day, and we will look at the 3, the 6 hour graphs at those intervals. What I'd also like to do is show you the summary of the day's readings and the summary of the 7-day and the 14-day readings. So give you a full overview, but all driven by the pump. So let's start with this morning. The 3 hour graph that you can see here is showing a pretty steady line. So 5.6, I'm really happy with that. I also took my blood sugar and it was the same. So that was pretty rare, but very, very good. The 6 hour graph though shows, which you can see here, shows that between 5:45 and 6:45 the pump actually switched off. And the reason the pump switched off is because it was estimating that my blood sugar was going to go low if it continued. So what I need to do, because that's a full hour, what I've decided to do is adjust my basal rate between 12 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the morning. It's gone from 0.75 to 0.65, and between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning it's gone from 0.6 to 0.5. So those 4 hours at 0.1 per hour is 0.4. The 1 hour that it wasn't working was actually 0.6, so I've slightly underestimated it, but that's what I wanted to do. As I say, I've adjusted those basal rates. We'll check again tomorrow and see how that goes. But overall, look at the 6 hour graph as well. It's pretty damn good actually. I'm really happy with that. Second set of graphs are 5 p.m. So the 3 hour graph shows 6.4, and again, pretty even line. I'm pretty happy with that. The 6 hour graph though shows that between at 12:45 and at 1:15 for about 30 minutes the pump switched off. But ultimately for 30 minutes I don't think I'm going to be too worried about that at the moment. I'm certainly not going to adjust my basal rates for going low for the pump switching off for 30 minutes. Let's just have a look at that, see if that happens again. Maybe I'll adjust it in the future slightly, but at the moment I'm not going to do anything. Now at 11 p.m. you can see that as between 7 and 8 p.m. in the evening the pump switched off, and the reason for that was I took too much insulin with my food, and I know that, but it's something that does happen quite often to me, as you can tell. But at 9:45 and 10:30 my the pump also switched off, and the reason for that was because I went for a run at about 8:30 and my bloods went slightly low. Sorry, my bloods didn't go low because the pump switched off. So now you can see why I became so reliant on the pump and the CGM working together. So when I actually came off of the CGM in order to test my basal rates, the basal rates were shot to pieces, certainly in the morning as we found. Now we're working back and it's starting to work itself out, and I'm much more comfortable, and the reality is the pump is switching off a lot less, which is exactly what you want, and certainly what I want before I look to transition from keto to low fat plant-based whole food. If we have a look at today's readings as a whole, I've got here, it shows 100%. It's a perfect day in some ways. It's a perfect day, but that is, as I said before, that is based upon the pump and the CGM switching off as well, numerous 2 or 3 times, which, yeah, it's not ideal, but that's what it's there for. That's what I'm paying for, and that's what I want it to do. Am I really disappointed? No, 100% really happy with that. Let's look at the 7-day. The 7-day is 98% within range and 2% below. As I said on yesterday's vlog, the 7-day isn't actually 7 days, it's probably 3 days now because I had the CGM off. I'm over the moon with 98%. I think that's fantastic. The 14-day shows 91% and 9% below. Again, to a certain extent, it's not ideal, but 91%. If you're looking for a grade in an exam, 91%, yeah, it's an A. You can't go, or A star maybe. I'm a bit old for A stars. That's the point. I think overall, I'm really happy with those readings. What I'd like to do is adjust the morning, see if we can sort that tomorrow, then we can move forward. The only problem I had today or yesterday was, as you saw, I had the readings at 11 o'clock at night. I was still awake at 1:30 in the morning, and sometimes I get this. I get a bit of insomnia, and I don't know whether it's some of the time when my bloods are out of control, or have been, and certainly when before I had the pump, when my bloods were out of control, I really struggled to sleep because I was so worried all of the time, and I was struggling mentally with coping with it. Now, last night, I don't think I had that. Maybe I am stressed with work. I do have a lot of work on at the moment, and I'm also stressed because I'm doing this kind of stuff, which is very new to me. But what I would say is, you can see here, 1:30 in the morning, this is generally what happens. I spend however long just sort of lying in bed, and then I get up and kind of wash my face, and then try and make a decision about whether I'm going to go back to bed or just come downstairs and have a warm drink or a glass of water or something. Last night, looking in the mirror, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to have a break from the room. So I went downstairs, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I actually logged on to a Instagram live stream. The Instagram live stream was with two ladies. It was Breon Naylor's live stream, but also she had invited on a lady called Megan Sharkus, and Megan is the founder and the owner of a company called Expression Med Tape. And Expression Med Tape, this is on each of your pumps and your, let's say you've got a Dexcom or your CGM, you have the sticky part, and the sticky part does, for certain people and for lots of people, it does come off at times, and it will come off in hot weather, and mine gets a bit frayed. It doesn't seem to come off, but different people have different skins. Megan worked out at the age of 17 that she isn't diabetic, but she worked out at the age of 17 that she could build a business, and she has lots of people working with her, and what they do is they produce this tape to go round your pump, or your, not the actual pump, but the site of your pump, the insertion site, and also your insertion site for your CGM, so the Dexcom and what have you. They've got different themes, and there's lots and lots of them. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to that website below. Feel free to go on there. I think she's 22 now, so they're coming up for 5 years of trading, and they're doing incredible stuff and helping lots and lots of people. Have a look at that. Other than that, guys, I'm going to leave it tonight. I hope you are all well. As I said earlier, tomorrow is supposed to be an absolute scorcher. So make sure you've got the swimming pool out, and get the kids out or yourself out in the garden and enjoy some sun, because we're all spending a bit too much time inside at the moment, aren't we? Okay, have a good night.